So many things to study by the mind. Consciousness, let's study that. Opposing values, let's study the difference between pain and pleasure. Is there a difference? Non-duality, let's study non-duality. Let's study religion. We can study material things, forms, and we can study space. We can study planets. We can study microbiology. We can study neurology. We have this mind that appears to think it can study anything it likes, but it won't study itself. Mind will not study itself, because when it studies itself, it finds out it's been exposed. What do you mean? What does the speaker mean by mind studying itself? Surely we are mind, and the planets are mind. We are mind, and opposing values are mind. All mind creations. But we are not mind alone. Consciousness cannot study itself, because consciousness is totality. There's not, in a blade of grass, you think consciousness evades a blade of grass, or the space that surrounds the blade of grass? Do you think consciousness evades anything? Why can't we find it then, says the scientist looking through the microscope. Why can't we find consciousness? Because you're looking from consciousness. We cannot discover that what is attempting to discover something other than what it is. Do we have to discover what we are? Does consciousness have to discover what we are? What's the point? Yeah, you've got a life, right? Live your life out. Okay, no, I don't want to live my life out. I want to know what I am. I want to know why I'm here. I want to know what is living this life out. And that's seeking. That's non-essential seeking. But is there anything essential in seeking? Is there anything to discover in another planet that's different from a blade of grass? There is only consciousness. Mind does not want to explore or discover or reveal itself, because it's a goner. And then it will tell you, well, if without me, you're going to live primitive. You're going to walk around like a dementia fool, like a vegetable. What is the mind talking to? Is the mind talking to the body? Is the mind talking to itself? Or is the mind talking to the consciousness that does not have an end? You think consciousness cannot shift into something else, into another quality of consciousness? So the mind disappears. Oh, that's the end for us. That's the end. The mind was right. We're going to be vegetables. We're going to be primitive. We're going to eat each other. We're going to fight. We're going to warmonger and everything. We shift into another level of consciousness. That's what's taking place right now. And you've no choice anymore. Some have no choice. Some are being hand-selected, hand-picked, not because they're special, because they're easy meat for consciousness. And that's not easy meat in a bad way, that's easy meat in a good way. Wow, picked me, why? Because you're okay. You don't have a massive ego. You're not a powerful, superior thinker. You're not away out in planet Neptune. You're not away in helping to solve the world, helping to help charities and animals and things. These things are taking place. You don't have to think about these things to be compassionate. You don't have to think about being kind. We want rewards for being kind. I gave that homeless man 20 quid. Yeah? Well, wasn't that good? No, that's normal. That's nature. That's nature feeding itself. You see, we have this idea, this ego has this idea that we have to be rewarded, it has to be given some sort of position in society. It has to be put in a specific kind of category, a box, so that it can discover, it can study. Now, I've been kind, I should be able to study something. I should be able to study Buddhism. Why? Because I'm kind. And that's what Buddhism is all about. I should be able to study the planet, the universe. Why? Because I studied biology at school. Do you want that? Yes, I deserve it. I deserves it. We're a breed of mind. And the breed of mind has specific qualities and specific needs and specific beliefs and specific ways. And it wants to study these ways because it feels comfortable. Yeah? It goes into the corner and studies its ways, waiting for death. I'll just do this. It'll keep me happy. It'll keep me occupied. It'll keep me from being exposed by myself. And some beautiful minds say, no, I want to discover. Apparently they say I'm a beautiful mind. I want to discover if I am a beautiful mind. If I am is a beautiful mind. So it tries to study itself. And it discovers that mind has no beauty. Mind has no ugliness. Mind has no quality. It is just an appearing and disappearing, fluctuating energy that wants to get recognized for some apparent reason. I want to go around space and be recognized. The scientist is not recognizing the other planet for the rest of the human race to feel privileged. No, I want to be the first one to recognize it. I want to get my name in Wikipedia. I want to get my name in lights. The mind has an idea that it's doing it for evolution, for society, for an all-encompassing need. Do you need another planet? Do you need religion? Do you need all that stuff in your life? Or do you need just to be here? Yeah. Study yourself. Because you are the mind. While you take ownership of a name, you identify with past, time, future, opposing values, different qualities of states. The senses and the emotions are not mind. They are here to help you discover yourself. They're not here to discover the world. It's okay, you can discover anything you like in our daily day. We all go to work and do our stuff. And so many people get so engrossed that they have to study. Let's study the mind. Let's study his mind. But you never study your own mind. Never study my own mind, only the thoughts. And the thoughts are reconditioned, programmed stuff. Regurgitated, boom, boom, like that pot of boiling soup. You know, pick out a carrot. Oh, that's the old carrot thought. A piece of turnip. Oh, that's the old piece of turnip thought. Oh, here's some broth thoughts, some lentils thoughts. They're always the same recipe, always the same ingredients. Well, let's study the pot. What? A pot? We always study the contents. You know, the contents is mind studying itself, but not in a natural way, in a way in the corner. I can study the soup in the corner where I won't be exposed. And any findings will be another ingredient within the soup. I'm not going to say I've discovered the bud, because no one will pay any interest in me if I say I've discovered the bud. The mind will not pay any interest in me, because that ego mind doesn't want a nobody. It doesn't want nothing, something to, it cannot explore further. So go away. And that's the point when you say, no, you come back and we will study the bud together. The body is the bud. What is contained within the bud? One moment, a bud of consciousness and love. But the ego feels queasy. It's fearful. I don't want to lose all this ingredients. I don't want to lose this soup. I don't want to lose the opposing values. I don't want to lose the states. I don't want to lose the idea that we can move into another planet. I don't want to lose the thought that if we don't continue to discover, we'll die from some sort of virus. Well, we're all going to die if that's your attitude. But we're not going to experience death when the mind studies itself. Because you'll experience the mind dying, a very beautiful, slow death in this inquiry, in this I am. And then it's all over. You know, only consciousness exists. So whatever takes place now will be a reshuffle of consciousness. And this conscious mind is not relevant to this planet anymore, to this idealistic conceptual ways of trying and not trying and looking at opposing values as something that we have to go down the good path and not the bad path. This is all nonsense. The conscious shift is to say, no, what's next? What is happening now? It's not next. What is happening now is the whole of consciousness is shifting. We may see a complete removal of ego. Don't worry, there's nothing to do with the human flesh and the bones and the body. That'll always be here. But we are seeing a revitalization of some sort of spirit, some sort of consciousness. And it's profoundly beautiful. And it's not a beauty made by a mind. It's not a man-made beauty. It's a natural recognition of yourself as consciousness. And consciousness as yourself is completely infinite and all-encompassing. Consciousness as the ego is just a human element that thinks it will die and it will suffer and there's an end. And that's what we're here to overcome, is the idea of end. But we cannot overcome it while we have an ego mind, because people will start taking their own lives. Because they think, well, there's no end, I hate this stuff, I'm going to move somewhere else. We cannot do it. We cannot portray it. We can only live it, each individually. So don't do anything other than let you explore yourself, Mr. Mind. Study yourself within, deeply within. And you'll find that the deeply within is deeply out with, and deeply everywhere, and deeply nowhere, and deeply as it is.